Hello, this is State Representative Mark Batinick, and welcome to Episode 1 of Solving Problems. Two of the biggest issues facing the state of Illinois are its unfunded pensions and its high property taxes. Past misdeeds and underfunding has led to a massive unfunded pension liability. Annual required pension payments are increasing quickly. In 2008, our pension payment was about $2 billion. It's just over $8 billion this year and scheduled to be $20 billion by the year 2045. Every annual increase requires either a cut elsewhere in the budget or a tax increase. Illinoisans also pay some of the highest property taxes in the nation. This has been a driver of job and population loss. It is a regressive tax that disproportionately affects the poor, unemployed, and the elderly. It hurts small business growth as they are required to pay the tax whether they are profitable or not. Manufacturers are hit extra hard as they have a large real estate footprint. That large footprint comes with a large property tax bill. This video will outline a solution to address both issues. The Center for Tax and Budget Accountability recently offered solutions on pensions. Their idea was to use the power of compound interest to help drive down the massive pension costs in the future. Relatively small skips in payments, sometimes called pension holidays, has led to long-term debt because of compound interest. Their idea was to reverse this mistake by increasing upfront payments in order to avoid a more dramatic increase in the future. The CTBA plan would level pension payments out over the next 25 years until we reach the required fully funded status. However, this plan would require the state to contribute additional funds over the next 8 years. The initial investment would be roughly $2.4 billion and slowly slides downward over 8 years. But over those 8 years, significant funds would be invested into the pension plans. In total, $11 billion extra would be invested quickly. The net effect of this is that our annual pension payment would never rise above $12 billion per year. In fact, around the 10th year, our payments would actually start to decrease. It's important to note that if we had been fully funding our pensions in the past, our ongoing costs would only be about $2 billion per year. The CTBA recommends borrowing the $11 billion. That's where the plan needs to be changed. Borrowing another $11 billion adds additional pressure to the budget. It also does not allow us to phase in the property tax relief, which is part 2 of the plan. We need to and can find the additional $2.4 billion elsewhere. As additional pension payments decrease from the $2.4 billion, the remainder should be used to lower property taxes on a per pupil basis. So year 1, $2.4 billion is going to shore up the pensions. By year 9, all $2.4 billion is going to property tax relief. For every additional dollar in state funding a school district receives, its levy should be required to drop by exactly $1. $2.4 billion is roughly $1,200 per pupil. That amount would lower property taxes where I live by 20%. The exact amount of relief per district would vary based on local per pupil spending, but it would be significant throughout the state. Actually, having a long-term solution to both problems would dramatically improve our credit rating, our business climate, and borrowing costs. This would lead to the best way to improve our debt situation, and that's growth. So where do we get $2.4 billion? There's several options. First, we need to be much better stewards of our taxpayers' dollars. Things like workers' compensation reform, expanding the pension buyout, reforming Medicaid are some of the areas that could be addressed immediately. We also need to prioritize our spending. Remember the $3 billion we committed to medium-speed rail? I sure wish we had that money back. $2.4 billion separates Illinois from solving the pension crisis and significantly addressing high property taxes. All of us in the legislative and executive branch should be working hard to find that $2.4 billion. If we don't, we will be looking for much, much more in the near future. Thanks for watching.